we are in sunny North Carolina, and we're going to be fixing a start brake on this fine little Honda. We're going to be using the Annihilator tool. And the first thing you want to always do is make sure the glass cools off. So what I do is open up the windows and turn the defroster on cool, and then blow on here for a little bit until it gets cool to the touch, or comfortable. I mean, so it doesn't burn your hand. That way you know it's at the right temperature. And then the next thing I do is I take my Dremel tool and I put on low speed. And I'll drill right at the point where all those points connect, and drill for 7 seconds. And I just use light pressure. I don't use a lot of pressure on there. That way you save the drill point. Flick it off with a toothbrush, and then I always take my little 2020 sewing needle and cap it. Give it a real light hit just to open it up. Like that, you'll notice it just opened up. And it's very, very muggy here, real humid. So I use a dry star in this tool because the humidity today is 95%. And it's about 90 some degrees, so I want to make sure all the water vapor gets excited by warming it up with a dry star tool. So all I'll do is I'll just let this warm up here a second. On the outer periphery of the brake, and work in a circular pattern. See, it's glowing right nice and red. But you keep that moving. You don't want to stop and focus it. You want to keep it moving from the outside in. And you want to operate about 20 seconds at the most. While that's nice and warmed up, make sure your vacuum chamber is backed out of there, out of the bridge enough to where it won't contact the glass when you set it down to the glass. Otherwise you can crack it out real easy. When you turn this down to the brake, it's right over the drill point, just till it touches the glass, and a little bit more, so you can get a good seal. And you tighten down the nut so your vacuum chamber won't rotate on you. And then we're going to load the injector, back this up until it's about 3.5 turns out. Cover it in a paper towel, insert the needle all the way in, and give it a gentle squeeze until you drive all the air out of the injector. If you don't do that, you'll leave an air pocket inside the injector, and it can prematurely draw the air out of the injector. You don't want that. And there's a mark over here on this side, so line these marks up. Gently set this into the vacuum chamber, and you turn it 3 turns, like so. And then I take our Woods pump and I just give it a push on here, and I give it 10 quick pumps. And let that heated area right there pull out a vacuum, and it'll pull all the water vapor right out of the brake. Anytime you're working outside, you want to make sure that you use a ultraviolet shield like this. Put it right over the brake like this. While that's working there, you can unplug your dry star and hook your lamp up. Get your lamp ready to operate. Because every time you do something like this, it saves you more time. You want to start your lamp a few minutes before so it can warm up and get it to full operating temperature and power. Usually you have the vacuum on there for about a good minute. And then we'll have Jason come around here, and we're going to film it from this side so we can get a shot underneath to film the star brake filling. Working from underneath the shield, you'll notice that we'll turn the injector all the way down to the bottom of its travel, so it won't turn down any further. And when you do this in a star, just make sure you watch your brake, make sure it don't start taking off on you. And this is fine. So then we just turn the piston until you feel a slight amount of pressure, give it a quick back draw, and then pressure again like that. You can do it a couple of times if you like, but just use light pressure. Once you get to that point, you can take the Woods pump and pop it off of there and put it back in your box. and then you just let it fill in. When it gets almost to the tip of the cracks, like it is now, you back up the piston all the way out, and then you can actually put your finger on the top of the injector itself and give it a slight back draw like this, even on the piston. It'll give it even more suction. When I say suction, it's a suction in the resin pool, which helps to draw the air bubbles out of the brake better, because you have a fluid connection with all the air bubbles in there now. So after you do that, then you can turn this back down and give it a final pressure. And when you're filling a star brake, you want to make sure you move your head around at different angles to make sure it's all filled, because sometimes you can look right at a crack and it'll look filled, it will look unfilled, but if you look at a different angle, it'll go away. That means it's filled. So when you get to that point, which it is, you can take this UV shade off of there and lay your light right alongside of the brake. I'm going to do a pressure cure. And what that does is that keeps the resin from going away from the tips when it polymerizes. And then you keep that lamp there on one side for 1 minute, one side over here for 1 minute, and then we'll take this unit off of here and give it a final cure, and then we'll be done with the repair after we resurface it and polish it. Okay. Alright, this is the final cure. This is after I take the unit off the glass. I put the Mylar square on there. I put a UV lamp right about in the middle here, because you get the most power in the middle of the lamp. And then while it's doing that, to save more time, this is when you rinse off your insert seal by just putting a paper towel at the bottom of your unit like that. Remove your injector, and this is when you set the injector inside the box, so the tip is pointed up towards something that will block the light. And that's when you take your isopropyl alcohol, use about this much isopropyl alcohol, put it all the way down the bottom and give it a little squish in there. Let it soak up into the paper towel, drain into the paper towel, blow into it, and tamp it like this a little bit. Then back this off about 3 turns, and you're all ready for your next repair. That's all there is to clean this tool. A lot of other tools you need extensive cleaning. This one here, that's about all you need to do with the tool to keep it clean. It can go for months. The O-rings usually last 6 to 8 months before you have to change them, so it's a very easy tool to maintain. There's hardly any maintenance to it at all. That's what makes it a real easy tool to use. This brake here was about a 5-pointed star, and it's just about ready to resurface right now. I always use a mirror from the inside so I can see what I'm doing real well. Some people don't like using a mirror, but I do. I feel naked without a mirror. You just grab the corner of it like this and rip it. You should hear like a little ripping sound. And then just cut away the excess Mylar, or not the Mylar, but the excess resin, until you get towards the center where it was impact pointed, and scrub perpendicular to the glass till it's nice and flat. And then you always want to make sure you look at it, and if you see any dimple right in the center, which this one doesn't, if you see a dimple, that's when you put your pit filler in there, and make sure that you give it a little bit more pit filler and a Mylar square, and they'll let it cure. But then you take a little bit of pit polish now, put it right on the impact, and give it a brisk rub with a dry paper towel. Like so. Then you can go out here and get the suction cup marks off. And then you're all set. That's a real nice repair.